And a good way to do that is when you answer the question, what do they want? And, the answer might be, well, white teeth, for example, if you're a dentist. The corresponding question would be why. Answer that and then ask why again. Well, why is that? And why is that? And that kind of helps, as you said, kind of get down to the root of actually what they want.
Sure. And I actually think that that's a good segue into the next point that I wanted to bring up. Another funnel hacking takeaway, right? That is worth mentioning. And it's something that I think that we already do a lot of as it is. But to hear more people talk about it is certainly gratifying, but helps you know that we're kind of already on the right path. The message that you have in your marketing needs to have a purpose, and I think that there's a misconception often that people have, whether it's a doctor or a credit union or an architect or whoever, that my service or my products fit everybody. Okay, maybe, but pretty unlikely also. And I would also venture to say that you don't have, if you look back through, if you were doing tracking and looking at revenue dollars, that you are not gaining everything pretty equally amongst all people, amongst all genders, amongst all races, or amongst all geographic locations. Like, there are certain pieces that you can pick out as significant pieces of data. And so there are questions that you should ask before you ever put any kind of advertising or messaging out. And I would even argue that this matters on your website too, right? On your service pages or on your product pages. So the idea is how to better identify your audience, right? There is 20%, and this is just kind of a rule of thumb, but you'll find it's crazy how often it's true. 20% of your audience produces 80% of your revenue. So what we're looking to do is identifying that 20%.
That beautiful 20%.
Yep. And it doesn't mean you have to exclude anybody else, but what we're trying to do is include more of that audience that is spending money or that is going to become a revenue producing figure for you. So there are 7 questions on how to better identify your customer. And we call them personas. So identifying a persona, a person. So I'll tell you what those questions are. Those questions are, what is your customer? What is their identity? Or what do they call themselves? Like, how do they identify? Question number 2 is ultimately, what is it they want? And sometimes it seems like it's a simple answer. I would argue that it's typically not. You kind of have to peel back some of the layers of the pieces to get to the root reason. And
a good way to do that is when you answer the question, what do they want? And, the answer might be, well, white teeth, for example, if you're a dentist. The corresponding question would be why. Answer that and then ask why again. Well, why is that? And why is that? And that kind of helps, as you said, kind of get down to the root of actually what they want.
We've talked about the concept of continually asking why, and we've talked about that the average answer takes 5 whys to get to the root cause. And my wife was joking with me the other day that it's like our 3-year-old is asking all the time, why? Why? And I don't even know that he cares about the answer. He just wants to ask why. And it's funny to see how you go down the responses, but that's kind of what you need to do.
Yep, agreed.
So, okay. So anyway, so that's the second is what do they want? And then number 3 is, what is their focus? Where is their attention being pulled? And again, ask why. The 4th question is, what is their issue or pain? To me, this is kind of a significant piece, because the reason why you buy a car or the reason why you go see a doctor, most of the time, right? Or the reason why you have a real estate agent, there's some problem, right? That they can help you solve, whatever that might be. So maybe you're looking for a comfortable trip, a car that can be better at gas mileage, or maybe something that's more environmentally friendly, right? Like a hybrid or an electric car. Or maybe you've got a sciatic nerve issue and the chiropractor can solve it, or maybe you have a special design you want on your building. Whatever the case may be, there are people who can solve that problem. If those people who I'm talking about, not the audience, but if those people can identify and clearly state, you probably have this issue, or you might be considering this, that's one of those pieces that connects you to what your audience is. Wow, how does he know? Right? I am in the market for an electric car right now. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Again, your message isn't for everybody, it's for your 20% that's going to drive that 80% of your revenue.
Correct.
So what is your issue or the pain? Even you as a provider may have those issues or pains. And so think about how you would put yourself in the shoes of your audience to identify what that might be. And then question number 5 is what might be holding them back, right? So what are issues for people who maybe are financial consultants, right? Maybe somebody wants to retire when they turn 50 instead of when they're 63, for example. So what's holding them back from retiring at age 50? There's probably a myriad of different reasons, but maybe it's just because they don't have enough money. So how do you solve that problem? I just identify it. That's it. Just write those things down.
Good.
So, and then number 6 is, does your product or service help, and how specifically? So how does your product or service solve that specific problem? A couple of weeks ago, we talked about a concept of, if you don't tell Google on your website something very specific, you can't assume that they know, right? Remember we were talking about the driving school.
Yep.
And these guys just wanted to show up for Los Angeles driving school, and they never were. And it was because they were literally missing the phrase Los Angeles driving school written on their website. So you have to spell it out. So don't assume that your audience, patients, or customers know the answer. Maybe some do, but probably not. So just assume that they don't. And then the last piece is, what time frame does it take to get results? So is it a dumbbell set, right? That you're a gym owner perhaps, and how long does it take to get fit? Or how long does it take to become a bikini body fitness competitor? Or how long does it take to lose 15 pounds? I mean, there's all these different things that you can identify. Or how long does it take to whiten my teeth, right? Is it a 10 visit process? I don't know if those would be very good teeth whiteners. or is it something that can get done in one 30-minute session or something like that? So those 7 questions are really key. Once you identify what those questions are, then you can shape the message, the hook, as Jim Edwards calls it, in your ad or on your landing page. It gets their attention. Oh my gosh, yes, that's what I need.
Well, oftentimes, a lot of service professionals or professional service providers will get frustrated by the billboards, the TV or radio ads, by the Facebook ads, by various kinds of marketing efforts that they're doing that it's not panning out, not producing results. They're spending a lot of money, but it's not producing the results. And it could be it's because that the messaging isn't well developed or targeted towards their kind of dream customer, their persona. And the best way to answer some of these questions is by having some informal, candid conversations with existing customers and ask them, some of these kinds of questions. And but when you do take the time to answer these questions and then look at your ads, look at your emails, look at your social media posts with that lens, you'll probably start seeing some gaps and some discrepancies and saying, this one really isn't.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And that's probably why. So
it's true.
Great insights.
And look, while that one took a minute to describe, there's a lot to unpack there. And I've been doing digital marketing myself for 15 years, and I have to be reminded of some of these things.
I know.
But so powerful, you guys.
That's awesome.